When you look back on Brazil's back-to-back CSGO major wins in 2016, you probably think of the Fur God and his ballsy-ass lurks.
Look at Fur, he's walked up behind him, he's ready. He wants more kills, flashbang going through. Sniper, oh, they're stabbing each other. It's gonna be snacks going down Fur.
Or maybe Fallen and his explosive opping.
So this is actually starting to turn once more and work out in favor. Oh, I was gonna say Mousesports, but Fallen through the wall, gets one at Shadow, a brilliant play, finds Next as well.
Maybe you remember the times Taco stood up to be counted.
It's a one-on-one, Guardian versus Taco. It may just be destined to be. And it's Luminosity winning their first major championship.
Or of course there's Coldzera and his, well, you know.
Here he comes once again. The first base is a Dren. He's gonna hit the ground there as Cold. Oh, what? A jumping double for Cold! What is going on right now? How does he do this?
But what if I told you that the secret to SK Luminosity's success wasn't their sneakiest, most systematic, most supportive, or famously suspended superstar? That much of them becoming the best CSGO team in the world during that time actually had to do with their most inconsistent, inactive, and controversial player. Meet Lincoln FNX Lau, a 1.6 prodigy turned CSGO veteran who, after winning his first major at 16, became one of the biggest celebrities Brazilian CS has ever seen. Unfortunately, he's also its most troublesome, and has suffered countless kicks as a result.
It's nothing to do with what happened in the game. It's all to do with his attitude. He's someone where the rep doesn't work quite as hard as other people. Apparently in line with that, difficult to deal with.
But perhaps the strangest thing about FNX's turbulent career is the fact that it's developed into a sort of curse for the teams he's been a part of. You see, as unreliable and unmotivated as FNX is, if you boot him from your lineup, you can pretty much kiss your hopes of winning CSGO's biggest title goodbye. In other words, no FNX, no major.
Cara, que eu fiz agora, FZ? Cê é louco, tio!
Okay, so aside from boasting sick tattoos, being a badass martial artist, and having his own line of streetwear, FNX is essentially the single most decorated Brazilian Counter-Strike player of all time. After winning the ESWC Major in 2006 at the tender age of 16, FNX became the closest thing his region had to a Counter-Strike celebrity. But unfortunately for FNX, he took to the life in the fast lane a little too quickly, and it wasn't long before his career started spinning out of control.
Eu acho que o CS não era uma prioridade para ele. Ele não gostava muito de treinar, era mais festeiro e tudo.
For years, FNX was seen as nothing more than a half-assing has-been who wasted his potential partying instead of practicing. He developed a reputation for missing scrims, playing like crap in tournaments, and was known for being difficult to deal with.
I think that in that time, he was a kid and don't think in the biggest way like, oh, I can't wait this opportunity.
But following the launch of CSGO, FNX decided to turn his life around. He cleaned himself up, got serious about the game, and started carrying an up-and-coming roster to success. True to his name, which is short for Phoenix, this Brazilian bad boy had been reborn, earning him another shot on Luminosity, which he didn't let go to waste.
FNX waiting for the perfect moment, and he's going to play this patiently. There it is, there's the first frag from FNX. He'll get the second as well, and now Fallen can go in, but it's down to Scream. Gets the first kill, but here comes FNX! All 4 kills for FNX and the defuse. That's exactly what Luminosity needed.
Now 2-on-3, bomb ticking in front of that bomb side. FNX he close here with the AK in hand. He's gonna lose a teammate. He takes the one fight, goes for the follow-up. He's gonna spray down another one. Scream still defusing. He can't get it. Luminosity gonna win the round.
The rest, of course, is history. Alongside Fallen, Fur, Coldzera, and Taco, FNX racked up back-to-back CSGO majors.
We now crown the Brazilian side SK as the kings of Counter-Strike, the best Counter-Strike team in the world. The SK era is officially here.
Against every odd, FNX had made one of the most inspirational comebacks Counter-Strike had ever seen. For the second time in his life, he'd managed to reach the very top of his game. The problem is that once again, his attitude prevented him from staying there. And in December of 2016, he found himself being booted from the very team he'd fought so hard to find redemption on.
O Lin, que é o Fênix, ele é muito bom jogador. É um jogador que a gente não soube substituir. Só que o problema dele é que quando ele não tem, ele é uma pessoa. E quando ele tem, ele é outra pessoa.
I think FNX, unfortunately for him, was someone who got caught up in it all. And was less serious about practice, was probably the least motivated to practice on his team. Obviously, saw the guy out, drinking a little bit more at events than other guys. And not SK specifically, when that team started to fall off, that was one of the things they looked at because it's, they're trying to find ways to improve and maybe dedication was part of it.
Here's the crazy part though. Tragic as it was, the FNX kick wasn't actually predicted to hurt the Brazilians all that much. He might have been experienced and naturally talented, but his questionable motivation, streakiness, and his abrasive attitude made their decision to drop him a reasonable one. But as it turned out, losing FNX would hurt SK, because he injected the team with something that's really hard to replace. He was their X factor, man.
FNX in the bedroom waiting, and who's going to be checking it? Sipnik's will, but he goes down. Fur taking a fight and coming out on bottom against Dupree. FNX with one more frag, making it a double. This is how brutal. He turns around 180 degrees and drops the bomb carrier, and that's Luminosity. It's exactly what he should do. Now they're going to go for it here. He tabs Apex away, and now Kenny, he's going to try and see if he can hold it down. He is still on the bomb here, and FNX is going to go for it. He gets a straight headshot. Triple kill for him, and yeah, you're allowed to scream like that when you win a 1 versus 2 in a pistol round. This is such a big risk right now, and Fnatic, they're just not buying it. Now they must have heard him, and they're going to make the rotation, but the problem is now when he plants, he can't make it out, and he's stuck in here. Just getting the bomb down. He's going to have to take the fight. There's the one shot. FNX. Oh, no! Are you kidding me? FNX does a quad kill. That's an ace in the round.
You had Fur, aggression. You had Cold, consistency, Fallen with the flash. And then you had FNX, who could just be there to be that star, to fill those moments when one of those players doesn't step. Then FNX is there to take over the game. He was just another arrow in Fallen's quiver. And I think the team has struggled ever since he's left.
FNX was just one of those guys who didn't even need to practice, which is a good thing, because as we've seen, he pretty much never did. The flip side, of course, is that when he did devote himself to CS, he could dissect a server like no other. If all looked to be lost, that's when FNX would come alive.
Now down to 7 seconds, 6 seconds, FNX in the pit. He's going to get the one kill in that bomb. It can't be planted inside. FNX has to stay alive. Oh, he gets the triple FNX! Oh my god, what a way to win that round!
Now, it just so happened that the Atlanta Major took place in January 2017, about a month after SK gave FNX the boot. Given that they'd lost a longtime member of their roster, and the fact that they were playing with a stand-in, it made sense that they failed to three-peat. But the damage was done. SK had kicked FNX, and they'd been cursed. They just didn't know it yet. Over the next 6 months, the Brazilians racked up a streak of first-place finishes that saw them skyrocket back to being arguably the best Counter-Strike roster on the planet. Well, until the Krakow Major came along, and everything went to shit. They didn't just fail to make the finals, they didn't even make the semis.
Now Fallen is alone in a 1 versus 4. He's going to get one more kill, but there's only 17 seconds. He can't get this bomb part down. Astralis will have done it. They're in the semifinals, 16-6 against SK Gaming at the PGL Major.
But guess who did make that final? See, here's where things start to get real tinfoil hatty. It wasn't G2, it wasn't FaZe or Astralis. It was a Tier 2 Brazilian roster known as Immortals. The very roster that FNX had joined following his departure from SK. That's right. All it took was recruiting FNX for a group of second-rate Brazilian misfits and up-and-comers to make it all the way to the grand finals of a major. But to be clear, they couldn't win the major. Why? Well, you see, they didn't actually have FNX. You see, about 2 months prior, Immortals made the startling announcement that they decided to bench FNX in the wake of, well, you guessed it, a slew of internal issues.
It's very sad that FNX goes through those problems. I mean, he's a great guy. I have been playing with him since 2009. I have a lot of respect for him, and I like him as a person a lot. But when it comes to giving a good atmosphere inside the team, I think he's struggling a little bit. And I think that's something he can work on. I mean, when he's very committed, when he wants something, he's one of the best players in the world. And that's something you can take from him.
From that point on, the superstitions surrounding FNX became way too eerie to ignore. With Immortals imploding after their unlikely run at Krakow, and SK/MIBR continuing to fall off of a cliff, a community-wide meme began to take shape. One that offered an explanation for Brazil's otherwise inexplicable downfall. No FNX, no Major.
Como já diria os meus parceiros, sem Fênix, sem Major, meus amigos. O único cara que tem 100% de aproveitamento em Majors.
Hell, FNX thought the meme was so funny that he even began brandishing it on his clothes. And he got away with it. See, despite his attitude issues, most Brazilian CS fans adored FNX. It didn't matter how destructive he was jacked, wore the freshest clothes, and hung out with the hottest dudes.
Everyone still celebrates this guy, even when he's just being inactive, even when he's wasting everyone's time, he's collecting a salary, doing nothing, even when his teams fail. He never seems to be the guy who catches the flak, right?
Needless to say, FNX hasn't gone on to do anything significant in CSGO since his expulsion from Immortals. Well, except for somehow being kicked by a team that was sponsored by his very own clothing company. And yet, sad as it is to see such obvious talent go to waste, FNX doesn't really need to rise to the top for like the third time in his career.
As far as his CSGO career is concerned, the man's a major champion. He's been at the top. He's had a fantastic career, no matter how you look at it, in one of the more competitive periods in time in CSGO as well. So, yes, he has had a successful career in CSGO, one that he can be proud of, certainly.
But that's not to say he isn't on the grind. Today, FNX is still roster hopping in the Brazilian scene, remains a brand ambassador for MIBR, and continues to manage his own successful streetwear brand. In many ways, he's just as well off as the squads who've been floundering since his departure. Look, as eye-roll-inducing as the meme may be, it technically holds true. Across 20 years and 3 different versions of Counter-Strike, no Brazilian roster has ever managed to win a major without FNX. He's kind of like his region's good luck charm. But whatever his future holds, and however long it takes Brazil to succeed in his absence, one thing is for sure. FNX is one of those rare, highly accomplished screw-ups that the community will just always stick up for. A tragic, flawed superstar that everyone wants to rise from the ashes again and again. Because at the end of the day, everybody loves a bad boy.
I count FNX off for a lot of times in the past, and he came back from a lot of times, and the guy is just insane at the game. So I'm really wishing him good luck, and I hope he gets back in the next opportunity. He does what he does best, which is play good Counter-Strike.
Você viu? Full control, my friend. Full control. Rapaz.
Once again, his internal issues made it so that he couldn't stay there. Prevented him from staying there. And in December of 2016, and in December of fucking Christ, this Brazilian bad boy had been reborn. FNX became, what the fuck was it?